Okay guys, we have our first lesson to record today. So today our lesson is 1-1 and 1-2 factor puzzles in the multiplication table, solving factor puzzles. Our goals for today are to relate factor puzzles to 4 numbers in the multiplication table and to learn strategies for solving and creating factor puzzles. So remember I told you I'd be modeling in my journal, so my journal is right down here. You'll be able to see it. I might move the screen around where I'm writing on your screen depending on where problems are popping up, but my notes will be right here and I expect you to have something written down for your notes. The first thing we're going to do is title our notes 1-1 and 1-2. Our main idea is factor puzzles. A preview to the unit, and remember as we're taking notes, I do not expect you to recreate these presentations and write every single thing down. These notes are a handy resource for you. So I won't be writing everything down. I don't expect you to write down as much as you want. Your minimum would be to be writing what I'm writing. Preview to the unit. In this unit we're going to be learning about how a rate situation can be generalized using many different numbers and how we can put this information into a table. We're going to be graphing this information. We'll also learn strategies on how to solve rate, ratio, and proportion problems by using different strategies. There will be multiple ways that you can solve these and you choose whichever one works best for you. We will also see how all of the tables and concepts relate to the multiplication table. So first thing we're going to think of are our symbols for multiplication. We've got your standard x, which we probably will not be using much of this year because x looks like a variable and you are going to get into having letters in math. You've also got the cute little star. You'll see that one quite a bit from me, or the dot. The star and the dot are the ones that you're going to see the most. Since algebra uses x for unknowns or variables, it gets confusing, and that's why we're going to try to eliminate it. Does that mean you will always see either the star or the circle? No, occasionally the x will slip back in, but I do my best to keep it pretty straightforward for you. So key vocabulary. Vocabulary is going to be an important thing for you to be writing down. It's important because when it comes up in your tests or reviews, you can use your journal, and so this will be a handy resource where all those things will be in one spot for you. Our first vocabulary word is factor. Now, I might not write down every single word in the definition of factor that I give you. We can shorten it up, but the definition will be there for you to reference. So a factor is a number that when multiplied by another factor gives a product. Could be thought of as multipliers. So a factor times a factor equals a product, also known as multiplier. The product of something, so I might just do a little dashes there so I can tell where the new words are. Product, hopefully this is a review word for you. A product is an answer to a multiplication problem. You can write out the word multiplication or you can just draw a symbol. Remember, if I'm going too fast for you, you can pause it, you can rewind it, you can go at your own speed with these digital notes. The next vocabulary word, which is probably a new one to you, is a factor puzzle. A factor puzzle is made up of factors and products. You use common factors to find a missing product. You're probably going, what in the world? We're going to practice doing this and we'll continue to practice throughout this unit. You do not need to copy down the factor puzzle example unless you want to. I'm not going to just yet because I think it'll make things more confusing for you, but I am going to copy down the multiplication problem that we have right here. That way you can see a real-world example of where factors and products are. So we have 9 times 2 equals 18. 9 and 2 are our factors. 18 is our product. If we look at our multiplication tables, we need to look for patterns and kind of look and see where these words that we have written down up here fall into our multiplication tables. So where would factors be located? I want you to think to yourself for a second. Remember, factors are the numbers you multiply by each other to get a product. So your factors on table 1 and table 2 are both around the outside. Your products are then located in the middle of both tables. Next up, we have strategies for finding factors. So you can see our outline of a multiplication table here, and we also have a little factor puzzle down here. We need to describe how the factor puzzle relates to the multiplication table. Something that hopefully you're noticing is that this factor puzzle right here, all the 3 products in the factor puzzle, are the same as the 3 products that are filled in on the multiplication table. We have an unknown in this spot, and we have an unknown on our multiplication table. What are the missing factors and products? Well, we're going to have to fill those in. So strategies for finding the factors, we're going to write the missing factors and the missing product. To do this, we need to think what row of the multiplication table has these 2 numbers, 6 and 10. So we're looking rows, we're looking across. 6 and 10, the number that 6 is divisible by and 10 is divisible by would be 2. We would think the same thing this way. 6 and 21 are both divisible by 3. 10, we knew that 2 was a factor of 10, so 10 divided by 2 is 5, or 2 times what gives me 10, and that would be 5. So that's kind of how we come up with our unknowns right here, and then our missing product will be the product of these 2 numbers. So I'm going to go ahead in my journal and show you real quick how to solve this factor puzzle. You've got a little bit of a hint with the multiplication table on this one. You won't always have the multiplication table, but for now it'll be there. So I sketch out my factor puzzle. I've got 6, 10, and 21. And we started off by thinking, okay, 6 and 10 have a common factor of what? Well, 2 goes into both of those numbers. Then we can think 2 times what gives me 6? 2 times what gives me 6? Well, that's 3. Is 21 divided by 3? Yes. Divisible by 3? Yes, it is. That would be 7. So I'm checking 7 times 3 gives me 21. Yep. 10 divided by 2 gives me 5. And I know that the number goes in the top and the bottom because they're twins. It goes all the way through because this would be the same column of the multiplication table. This would all be in the 3's column. So that's how I know those numbers go there. And now my missing product, which goes right there, 5 times 7, gives me my answer of 35. I skipped ahead some, but I had filled in my factor puzzle on my notes that looks like this. And here it is related in this multiplication table. You can see the 6 is here, the 10 is here, 21, 35. So you know 35 is your missing product. If it would be helpful for you to have a multiplication table, you can either print one out just by Googling one if you have that option, or you can go to either the 6th grade website. The math section of that website has some virtual manipulatives, or the math page on Schoology also has the virtual manipulatives page, and there are multiplication tables there that you can use to help you. Okay, we've got another factor puzzle over here to practice solving, so I'm going to go ahead and jot that down in my journal. So I've got my pretty puzzle. 6, 21, and 16 are the products that I know this time. We're going to think, okay, I can start 6 and 21 or 6 and 16. I'm going to go 6 and 21. 6 and 21 have a common factor of Hopefully you're thinking to yourself 3. I can also look, in this case we have the multiplication table to help us out. If we look 1, 2, 3, they're in the 3rd row. It's not always going to be that nice and easy. You won't always have the multiplication table to help you, but as we're warming our brains back up into math and learning this new concept, it's going to be there. So the next thing I can think to myself is 3 times what gives me 6? 3 times what gives me 6? That number would be 2. Is 16 divisible by 2? Yes. That means 2 is a common factor between 6 and 16. 2 times what gives me 16? 2 times what gives me 16 is 8. I'm going to write it in both places because remember this is still the same row. It's got twins. 3 times what gives me 21? That number is 7. So then to find my missing product, I'm just going to multiply 7 times 8. 7 times 8 gives me my missing product of 56. I like to draw a line when we're doing these practice problems where the blank was. That way I can kind of go back and see what I was trying to solve. So notice this multiplication table is kind of wonky. It's called a scrambled multiplication table. So this one's not going to be as nice and friendly as the last, except if you notice, you've probably already picked up that your answer is showing. If you haven't, that's okay. We're going to go through and solve the factor puzzle. So I'm going to draw in my factor puzzle. My unknown is right here, and then I know the products of 6, 15, and 35. I can start anywhere on this factor puzzle where I have 2 products side by side. So I'm going to start at 35 and 15. A common factor of 35 and 15, their greatest common factor in this case would be 5. It's the biggest factor that they both have. So then I'm going to think 5 times what gives me 15? That's going to be 3. I can double check myself. Is 6 divisible by 3, or is 3 a factor of 6? Yes. 3 times 2 gives me 6, so my 2 goes over here also. And I'm going to think, okay, my next spot that I don't know is right here. 35 divided by 5 gives me 7. My last spot, 2 times 7 gives me 14. So my answer is 14. You might have noticed the connection to the multiplication table. It was right here. It wasn't hiding from you very well this time. Remember, as you go through this unit, use your own strategy. Choose a strategy that works best for you. That might be factor puzzles. That might be having a multiplication table nearby to help you. The steps to solve any factor puzzle can be completed in any order, so you don't always have to go with the vertical products first. You can go horizontally wherever you see the common factor first, and eventually you'll use factor puzzles to solve proportion problems. You've made it through our first day of note-taking. When we go to our Zoom meeting, you should have already watched this. You should have these notes to have next to you during class, and we'll be doing some practice problems together. You'll need your Chromebook, your journal, and a pencil in order to do those. I hope that you didn't find these notes to be too much, and I look forward to seeing you in just a little bit.